Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to the second week of official Battle for Zendikar Spoilers. So we have 6 new cards to take a look at today, and on top of that, the rest of the full art basic lands have now been spoiled, so we have 6 more of those to see as well. If you're new to the channel, this is a great time to subscribe. We'll be doing these spoiler videos every day that spoilers come out, and on Friday, when the full set is spoiled, we'll begin our full set review, looking at the set color by color, and help you get prepared for the pre-release the following weekend. Having said that, let's jump into these full art lands. The first one is a Plains, and there's actually a cycle of 5 lands, one of each, that come from the original Zendikar, and this is the Plains version. We've already seen the forest and the mountain that have been reprinted from Zendikar. Here's the Plains. In just a moment, we'll look at the island and swamp. And here's the island that was reprinted from the first Zendikar. Here's another island. This one has brand new art. This one looks really sharp. I do like this one. We move on to swamps, and this is a reprint from Zendikar. Here's a swamp with brand new art. And finally, one more swamp with brand new art. So now that we've seen these 6, that completes all 25 of the full art basic lands. If you haven't seen the other ones, check out our playlist. We spoiled them a little over a week ago. But they look awesome, and even the reprints, I think good choice in the selection of the reprints, and the other 20 cards just look really amazing, so I'm very excited for these. Now let's jump into the new cards for the day. First we have Endless One, and this is a X creature Eldrazi 0/0. Endless One enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Okay, so this is a rare, and I don't know, this just feels more uncommon to me. I love it. I think it's a cool limited card. I love the fact that you can be playing an Eldrazi deck with a colorless theme, and you can draw this card at any time, and it's wherever you want it to be on your curve. This can be a 1-drop, this can be a 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, so on and so forth. And if you happen to draw it late in the game, you can get a big Eldrazi out of the deal. So this is a neat idea. I just feel like it's not going to really show up that much as a rare and limited. I think uncommon would have been fine. I mean, I would understand why this wouldn't be common in limited. It would have fixed your curve a little too efficiently, so I understand that. But I feel like uncommon this would have been okay, and it would have appeared enough to be a little more relevant. So great limited card. I find it very interesting, just not really sure why it's rare. Next card comes to us from a German language spoiler, and it's Painful Truths. 1 black, 2 colorless. It's a sorcery. It has Converge. Draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of colors and mana spent to cast Painful Truths. Here's another card that's in the rare slot that, I don't know, just doesn't feel super rare to me. If you're playing a Converge theme and it's working well, this is a good card in that situation in limited, because you can pay 3 to give up 3 life and draw 3 cards. That's not bad. I like that effect, but you have to do a lot of work to make this happen, and many times this might simply be a cycle and pay a life, or perhaps a bad Sign in Blood where you're paying 3 to pay 2 life and draw 2 cards. Sign in Blood has been a common in the past, so I don't know. This, again, is another card that just doesn't feel super rare to me. Again, I think we're going to see more pieces at the common level that are going to make Converge a lot better than it looks right now. So I haven't signed off on Converge as a horrible mechanic yet for limited. I think it could be a very good limited mechanic as long as the pieces are there at common to make it happen, and I'm pretty sure they will be. Having said that, if I'm building a deck in limited and I have a real strong Converge theme and I'm pretty confident that I can cast this for 3 different colors every time, yeah, I'd probably play it. If I'm playing a 2-color limited deck, it may or may not make my cut. It's not horrible. It's not the best thing in the world. And if I don't really think I'm going to consistently be able to cast it for more than 1 color, definitely won't make my cut in limited. Next we have Crumble to Dust. 1 red, 3 colorless. It's a sorcery, uncommon, has Devoid. Exile target non-basic land. Search its controller's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that land and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. So we'll talk about limited first. This is a decent sideboard card if you're in a situation where maybe you're getting beat down by a man land and you don't really have an answer for it. This will help you in that regard. As far as exiling multiple copies of the cards, that's probably not going to come into play very often in limited, maybe here and there. I also like the fact that this exiles, so it works well with your processors. So if you have a lot of processors, it might be worth running a card like this. So yeah, definitely a sideboard card in limited. It's not useless by any means. When you get into constructed, I don't really know if right now this standard is looking for this card. You could mess up some potential multicolor strategies or at least slow them down, but right now there's just so many options for multicolor lands and dual lands that I don't know, it just seems like the mana base for multicolor is pretty strong, and just running these in standard wouldn't really do a whole lot. First off, you can't really touch fetch lands with these. You can hit the new duels, you could hit pain lands, I suppose, but I don't know, it's just not super exciting to me in standard. There probably is a use for this in Eternal format as a sideboard against particular strategies that are based around lands and powerful lands. So I can't think of any off the top of my head, but it might be something that if a super powerful deck shows up in, say, a Legacy or even a Modern someday that is revolving around a particular land, it's kind of nice that this card exists, so I'm glad it's printed, but maybe not super exciting right now. Next is another reprint. This one's Dragon Master Outcast. It's originally from World Wake, and it's a mythic. It costs 1 red, human shaman creature. It's a 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 or more lands, put a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying on the battlefield. This is a good limited guy. This is not a card you typically want to play like on turn 1 or turn 2. It's just a lightning rod. You basically want to already have your lands out or ready to have your lands out when you put this guy out. He's just very fragile, and that's the only problem with him. As much as I would be fine running him in limited and just kind of rolling the dice and perhaps getting a 5/5 flyer out of it, most of the time this guy gets destroyed before you get to your next upkeep. Especially if you're playing multiplayer games like, say, a Commander, he's probably not going to survive. It's just the nature of it unless you have some way of protecting him. As far as standard goes, same thing. He's just a little too fragile and a little too conditional. So yeah, he's worth playing in limited. He's not always going to be great for you, but you'll play him because he's just worth the risk. Next we have Noyan Adar Royal Shaper, and this costs 1 blue, 1 white, 3 colorless. It's a legendary creature, Merfolk ally, 4/4. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may put 3+1/+1 counters on target land you control. If you do, that land becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with haste that's still a land. And this is a rare, and this feels a lot more rare to me. So here's what I like about it. We'll talk about limited first. Cost 5 for a 4/4. That's decent stats for limited. But I love the fact that this thing's an ally, and allies are just really seem pushed so far. So if I'm playing an ally strategy in limited, this is going to be a great complement to that. And if I have a few instant and sorcery spells, wonderful. I get to animate some of my lands into 3/3 creatures. That's just not going to hurt. Yeah, I like it. It's a pretty cool limited guy. As far as constructed goes in standard, allies are being pushed. Now, we haven't seen all the components yet, but it appears that there's a very good chance that we could see a constructed ally deck in standard, and this could fit into it. Now, it does open up your lands to destruction a little easier, so you want to be careful with the effect, but it's an ally, and that alone can make it do some powerful things when it's coming in and out of play. Really cool card. I like this design. I think this one's neat. As far as other formats go, this could be an awesome Commander and an ally build. I think this would be really fun to try this one out in Commander and see what it can do. It's just unique and different. All right, our last card of the day is another ally card. This one's a land. It's Allied Encampment. It's a rare. It can tap for 1 colorless mana, or you can add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast an ally spell, and you can pay 1 and sacrifice it and tap to return target ally you control to its owner's hand. Now, here's the card that is really going to go a long way to making a standard ally deck work. This is really cool. It's a land. You can play 4 of these in your deck. You throw it out there, and the allies are in all different colors, and many of them are dual color, like we just saw. So this is going to help you with your mana fixing to cast your allies. And then I love the ability that you can just sacrifice it to either save an ally and or replay the ally to get the ability to trigger again. That's really cool. That can just win you a game right there. You could be in a situation where maybe you have the ally that gives all your creatures +2/+2. You can put them back in your hand, play them again, play another ally that gives maybe double strike, and there you go. You can just have a huge turn and win a game out of nowhere. So I really like this card. This is really cool. As far as limited goes, obviously you're going to want to have some ally strategies in your limited pool or have drafted an ally deck for this to really be great for you. But it's good, and at least it still gives you colorless mana, so it doesn't hurt you if you don't currently have an ally at the time. So easily playable and limited. But this will definitely shine, I think, in standard. Very exciting card, probably the best one we saw today. Now, having said that, those are the cards for today. Just want to again thank everyone on Patreon who supported us. It's viewers like yourself that help us make these videos, get them out on a timely manner, and I really appreciate the support. If you haven't checked out our Patreon page yet, you can click on the top right corner or in the next slide on the annotation. We do have some patron exclusive giveaways. So as always, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks as always for watching. These videos are made possible by viewers just like you through Patreon. Please check out our Patreon page by clicking on the top right. Down below, we have more links to quality Magic the Gathering content. And if you're interested in seeing trading cards open that aren't Magic the Gathering, check out the link to our trading card channel, Heroes and Legends Trading Cards. Thanks and have a great day.